All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Eliza. I am content creator expert over at Lugiami, and today we have Tasha with us. Tasha,
Hi
introduce
guys.
yourself.
Hi guys, how you guys doing? I'm Tash. I'm a content producer for IGN Southeast Asia. I'm a esports and gaming host, a casual streamer, and your resident memer. How you guys doing?
So you're mentioning that you're a host, but you're not like esport. You're related to the esport, but you're not a player.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, I play games, but I'm not like a pro player. If that makes sense to you.
Yeah, so you're related to the esports another way.
Yes. So I'm like the microphone of esports, I guess. I'm not commentator per se, but I present facts. I don't know how to say it, but I'm a host.
So you're the person in between the games who keeps everything entertaining.
Yeah, that would be me.
Okay, that's awesome. Okay, we have a few questions over at Discord.
Mhm.
Uh, First question comes from Ash.
Oh, Ash is like when I when
Yeah.
I when I first heard when I first saw her, I'm like, damn, she hot. That's number one. And number two, I was like, damn, she's so cool. I want to be just like her.
So she's actually interested in you.
Oh
She
wow,
have
okay.
questions towards you.
Okay, let's go on a date, Ash. I'm just kidding. Let's do the questions.
Maybe she'll agree. You have to ask her.
I don't know, man. I don't want her. She might have like all these famous footballers like into her. I don't want to be kicked by footballers. So
Yeah, that's not good for gamers. Our sports is not very physical.
no, we're not. It's just my fingers.
Okay, so the question is,
Mhm.
how do you keep yourself motivated every day to think positively?
Oh my God, that's actually that's like you guys went hard on the first question, man. Oh my gosh. Actually,
Yeah.
like how Bruce Wayne, like the Hulk, is like, that's my secret. I'm angry all the time, but my secret is I'm negative all the time. No, but in all seriousness, I wouldn't say I'm positive all the time per se. I would like it looks outwardly, like on social media, you can basically sell any of your best parts of your life, which is what is so interesting and yet so scary about social media. Like you can be so frigging sad, but no one will know because on social media you only post like the good things about your life. For the past few weeks, honestly, I haven't been very positive. I've been in a very low mindset. Like it's actually really funny, like you think like once you're on the up and up, you would be more positive and more happy, but I think like every single good thing always comes with a bad, and I feel like that's what I'm going through. But to motivate I don't motivate myself to be positive. I motivate myself to try my best every day. It's kind of like live your life as though tomorrow you're gonna die, that kind of thing. Like you want to make sure that you don't have any regrets. Like what do you want to do today? Like some people just waking up in the morning is an achievement, then just wake up in the morning. I always think about it like this. Even when you're having the worst of days, all you got to do is just show up. You don't have to give yet your best or your most positive, but so long as you've done what you can, I would say that's a pretty good day. But that's just me though.
That's an awesome mindset.
Yeah.
So it's like do it as much as you can.
Yeah, because like, if someone says they're like positive all the time, they're absolutely lying. No one can be positive all the time. That would be so exhausting. So what can you
Definitely.
do? You just do your best. If say that you have work today, but you don't feel like doing it, all you got to do is just go to work. You don't have to give 110%. Just appearing at work and doing the bare minimum is already enough. I think that's a problem with people. People think that you need to be positive all the time. You need to give 110 all the time. But if you live that way, you will burn out all the time.
Yeah, so that's a nice answer. The
Yeah,
people saying get way too deep, way too fast.
I know. That's why I said, woo, you guys like zoom.
Yeah, had us slightly different then. Because okay then, last question from Hamada.
Okay.
What is your favorite classic video game? And do you still play it?
Classic video game.
Yes.
This is a very hard one because I didn't exactly grow up with video games. I watched my cousins play video games. I only properly started playing video games when I was 13. That is in the PlayStation 2 era. But if you talk about classic, the word classic in it would be RuneScape old school. That was like the first
Oh
MMO I
wow.
played. I don't play it anymore, but I always think about it fondly because that game took up like 10 years of my life back then. Holy moly, like I
Oh wow.
played for like more than 8 to 10 hours sometimes. I would stay up in the middle of the night just to play with my American friends and UK friends. And yeah, I made so many friends on there. It was a very interesting moment of my life where I felt that my online friends were actually better than my real life friends. But as you grow up and you change, your mindset also changed. But I still think back. I actually still am friends with some of them on there. One of my closest friends is actually Kayen. I met her on RuneScape. We're still friends till today. We actually recently just did a gift trade. She's all the way in Netherlands.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah, so that was really nice. I actually met one of my other friends as well. Her name is Patricia. She actually lives so near me, which is really funny. So that's how we became friends too, because of RuneScape. It's actually so funny. So yeah, I'll never forget RuneScape. I feel like that's for me. Like I feel like that kind of game was like, in the days when back then when people thought where video games were like kind of like looked down on, you have no life, and to find like-minded people on that kind of video game is honestly so amazing. Actually, my best friend, her name is Tash as well, which is so funny. I'm Tash, my
Wow.
best friend's name is Tash. We actually bonded because one day I came to school and I confessed to her that I played RuneScape, because you don't really confess to people you played RuneScape back then because that's an embarrassing game. I don't know why. I don't know why people are so embarrassed about that. And I found out she did too, and that's how I became best friends. So yeah, technically, that game really impacted like a lot of parts of my life.
That's awesome. So like so positive experience from the first game.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. If I could go back and replay that game, honestly, I would. Um, but right now, like thinking about it again, if I would still play it nowadays, maybe not because it's such a very grindy game, and I feel like I'm already like don't have time. I feel like I would die.
Yeah, a lot of old games. Like I personally have no patience for the old school games.
Yeah, I mean, like I feel like in terms of games, I do wish when you buy games on like PlayStation or Xbox or even PC games, like you pay like 240, 250 ringgit for a game, and you get like maybe 8 to 10 hours worth. I'm just like, come on, man. But I understand that like some games are on the AAA side, they are expensive because of the quality of the game. But sometimes you just want a good long game that can, you can kill time in. But honestly, the thing about MMORPGs is that it's a never-ending game, and
Yeah.
everything changes so fast that if you don't sink enough time into a game, you fall off so easily.
Yeah, that's a blessing, the curse of these games.
Yeah.
um, all right. There's a question from Mel.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what do you think games helps with relieving stress and helps with your mental health?
Okay, this is like a
So we went
double.
from like light question back to all the serious stuff.
Yeah, I feel like this is a very double-edged sort of question. Uh, because there's a weird balance between video games being a good thing for mental health and a detriment to mental health. Recently, I just did a study because I was really interested in writing about it for IGN. I haven't, but I'm going to eventually. And there was a study done between video games, correlationship between video games and depression. So a lot of people start off playing video games as a way to relax, and then it becomes video games as a means to cope with stress, and then it's video games as a means to cope with loneliness, and finally video games become an addiction because you rely on it to cope on these things. So I feel like a lot of people kind of fall into the addicted side of video games because there are some people, they have to play a game every day, they have to plan what they're doing on video games, they have to play no matter what. And there are some people who are like, oh, I have some free time today, I'll feel like relaxing, I'll play a video game. So honestly, in my opinion, video games can absolutely be good for mental health so long as you find that good boundary and balance when it comes, because as people say, everything in moderation, and this also goes for any kind of sport, any kind of video game. There should always be that. So one thing that I feel like, should be done is like everyone really needs to find that balance. Don't let video games become from something that should be positive for your mindset to become a negative. That makes sense to you?
Yeah, I'm fully agreeing with you, but also it's hard since you mentioned addiction, right? People
Mm-hmm.
with mental health very sensitive to the addictions,
Yeah,
so it's
um,
very easy for them also
it
to fall
is,
into it. So
because the thing is, like a lot of people, they turn to things to kind of how do I say this? They turn to things to fill that void or that gap.
yeah,
Like for some people, like for me, I was lonely. I was playing a lot of Genshin Impact, but I told myself, don't play alone, because then it becomes an addiction. Because every time I'm lonely, I want to play Genshin Impact. So instead, what I do, I find some friends, spend time with them, because we as humans have always been social animals. So we
yeah,
always want to be with friends. That's just who we are as people. So I try my best to kind of give myself healthy socializing, a healthy way to cope with things. Like sometimes you don't necessarily need to play video games. That's why I feel like when people say, "What's your hobby?" I love playing video games. There should always be more than one hobby and not just video games. In terms of like video games helping cognitives, your mental cognitive and mental health,
hmm,
like I feel like it really helps in terms of like making, how do, that's the word, oh my god, the cognition, like your how you view things, how you perceive things, how you solve things in the world. Like I feel like back then we would be doing critical thinking classes with like red hats, blue hats, yellow hats, and all that kind of stuff. It falls into labels. But when you do video games, right, the way you think is very different. So that's why there's esports, because some people, their critical thinking is just way ahead of other people. So what was I saying again? Oh my god, I've just got veered all the way to here. Like, what happened? Like, when we go back to this, right? We want to talk about addiction
yeah, it was mental health and
and,
addictions.
and mental health. Like some people think like, oh, I have to. Okay, let's talk about Valorant, because this is something that's very close to me. Some
Yeah,
people start off playing Valorant as something casual. They have fun with it. And then you have people that go, okay, I want to be better at this. I want to be good enough so I can play. And then there are some people like, I have to be good no matter what. And they become addicted to getting better. Okay, so getting addicted to getting better, I guess, is not the big deal. But when it comes to people getting addicted to playing Valorant because they just want to keep playing and becoming the best of the best of the best, that's when it starts becoming a problem. Because there are people where they are so good at the game, but the thing is, Valorant is a 5v5, right?
yeah,
And I noticed this from like people who are very addicted. They tend to get more mad at teammates. They tend to want people to play a certain way. They want every game to be a certain way. And that's the problem, because when you play these kind of games, not every game is going to be similar to the other games. That's what makes these kind of games so fun, like League of Legends, Wild Rift, and all that kind of stuff. So there's an addiction to that as well. I feel like depending on the game, the addiction is going to be different. So like, when I talked literally before about competitive games, maybe people are addicted to competitive games because winning makes them feel fulfilled, and it fills up something that they are lacking in life. Okay. And then there's people who are addicted to gacha because the
hmm,
thrill of getting something, the thrill of getting what you want out of it, the sheer luck, is also another thing in itself. And then there's people who are addicted to playing just games in general, like to fill up that void. And I guess like a lot of people during the pandemic turned to video games, like Animal Crossing and all that. I remembered I was very addicted to Animal Crossing as well, because I couldn't go out. I couldn't go anywhere. So what can I do to fill up time? Just play Animal Crossing, I guess. But I'm glad that I'm out of that. I played exactly 420 hours.
wow,
Exactly. I never played it again because it's such a nice number. Yeah, but imagine 420 hours in 3 months is quite big amount of time, you know what I'm trying to say? So I feel like during this pandemic, especially now in Malaysia, we're back in lockdown, we're gonna see a lot of
Yeah.
people falling back into these addictions, you know, and I feel like the best way for you to deal with this is to always talk to people, try to socialize as much as you can. And also having a good routine is good as well. Like making sure that everything is done and out of the way. Getting proper sleep is also very important. I like how I say I need proper sleep, but I myself don't get enough sleep every night. Oh my gosh.
I don't think anyone does, to be honest.
No.
There actually was a question regarding your daily routine.
Oh, there was? Okay, this is
Yeah, by Decor Guys 12.
for daily routine, oh my god, I have a horrible daily routine. It's really bad. I wake up at 10, 11 a.m. I probably should be waking up earlier, but I don't. I wake up, the first thing I do is I will get ready for work. So come downstairs. I try my best to actually get out of my PJs because I'm stuck indoors. I've actually been working from home for about a year and a half now. We did have a little while where we went back to the office, but then things got really bad again. So we're back here. Um, so after that, I sometimes in the morning, if I have time, I would watch anime with my boyfriend because we're long distance. So he's in Vegas time, I'm in KL time. So the only time that we actually get to hang out is like around daytime, like really early morning for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, it will be product reviews. I don't know if you can see the background here. There's a whole bunch of boxes. Those are things I need to review.
Here we can see some boxes.
Phones, more phones. Yeah, there's more stuff under my desk, so that's a lot. I'm just running out of space here, so that's what I do at IGN. Mostly a lot of product reviews. One of some of my favorite articles to write as well is I like to write more of like what's that word, social problem kind of articles. Like one of my best articles I've ever done was addressing female harassment in video games. I recommend you guys Google it if you guys haven't read it. It's on IGN Southeast Asia.
Mm-hmm.
I also, my next article, which I'm really excited about, is talking about careers in video games, trying to show people that it's not just about streaming and becoming a pro player. I wanted to show like everything behind the scenes, like what Ellie does or what Ash does.
What
You know,
you're doing.
I mean, technically, I'm one of the mainstream, people in video games. But like after I worked with like so many organizations and productions, I like a lot more credit is definitely due to them for making such a great show for a lot of people to enjoy around the world, especially in the pandemic, which is why I'm so interested in writing about games. So after I'm done with like doing all that, I have lunch and then I would, if I'm lucky, I'll have an hour of video games for during lunchtime. If not, I will be working on my own personal stuff. So for my own time as well, I do have reviews of my own on my own social profile. Sometimes I have to take a picture, or I have to review another game. Yeah, I'm also doing freelance work as well. And then when nighttime comes, I stream. And if I'm not streaming, I will be playing more Genshin. Or I'll be playing Valorant with my friends. And around 1 or something, I'll probably go to sleep, 1 or 2.
And then start over.
And then start over again. Oh man, I feel like my older routine was better back in 2019. 2019 actually, I wasn't in gaming and esports. I was actually left for a year. I did tech, but it was one of those years where I was traveling so much. I was back and forth from the US about 4 or 5 times, which is crazy. I went to Paris. I went to Germany. Where else I go? I was supposed to go to China, but that didn't work out. So yeah, I miss traveling.
And then COVID happened.
Yeah, I know. I'm so glad I got to travel that year, but holy moly, I miss it so much.
Yeah. From traveling that much, just being locked, not even in your country, but at your home. Yeah, that
Yeah,
should be hard.
it is. I think like the worst part about lockdown is not being able to see my boyfriend, because he's all the way in Vegas. So I think the last time I saw him was New Year, 2020. Oh my God, it's 2021 already. I last saw him in
2021.
year 2020. Holy moly. And to think, I was actually, I think about this a lot, like how crazy it was. Like that year when I was flying back here, 3 days later, we found out about coronavirus. And I was like, and I literally had a layover in China. And I was thinking, my God, that was very narrow. I was literally there, you know? It's crazy.
Yeah, because it just popped out of nowhere, from what I
Yeah.
remember. It was all fine, and the next day everyone locked down.
Yeah, I know. And it was so crazy because I spent New Year's on the Vegas Strip and we were like a pack of sardines. Like, if that was not an outbreak area right there, I wouldn't know what to say.
Yeah.
My God, I think about this like all the time.
Yeah, now after everything would be really weird to go outside and like crowded places specifically
Yeah, I
without
know.
masks.
I know. And the worst part was like the other day I got my first vaccine injection. This lady walked in front of me and it wasn't like 1 meter away. And I got so annoyed. And then I was like, whoa, this is so different now. You're like in my social bubble, lady.
Yeah, I think everything gonna be so different now.
Yeah, it is.
All right. There was a nice question from Makey Roro. The
Okay.
question is, what would you recommend for gamers who lost their passion for gaming?
Gamers who lost passion for gaming.
Yes.
Okay, this is a very interesting question because people lose passion for a number of reasons. Some of them being that you either play too much games or you too tired to play games or maybe you grew out of it. Growing out of it is I feel like a very natural progression of life. I feel like a lot of like people like my dad, when he was younger, he played a lot of video games on the computer, but then as he grew older he just stopped playing because time goes by, you're too busy with work, and it happens. It definitely happens. I wouldn't say that it's a bad thing to lose passion for video games because in my opinion, sometimes not that you grow up. I feel like people don't grow out of gaming. I mean, don't grow up, like grown-ups don't play video games. They do. Like, I'm an adult, I play video games, but it's more of like your passions lie elsewhere. You have a new hobby or you have new interests, and that's absolutely not wrong at all. But if you're trying to say like you want that passion back, I recommend that maybe you just take a break. Just take a break, don't play it for a little while, explore new things. And if one day you decide like, oh, I really miss video games, I want to try it again, like, just hop back into it. There's no proper way to enjoy video games, which is why I get really annoyed when people say like, oh, PUBG Mobile isn't a video game. Oh my God, Candy Crush is. It absolutely is, okay? Like, shut the heck up. Who are you to gatekeep? It's a video game. It's a game. So, like, try out new things, other video games, or if not video games, just take a break. Because like the thing is like one thing about me I remember is that I love streaming. I absolutely love and adore streaming. But once in a while I feel like I lost my passion. So what I do, I just take a break. Take a break, just relax, rest, try other things, and then I feel like okay, I'm gonna just try to stream one day. And then when you come back, it's like wow. That's what happened to me actually. I stopped streaming for almost 2 years. And then during March 2020 last year was when I came back and I realized, oh my God, I freaking missed this, and just like that, the passion came back.
So I think it will be somewhat related to the previous topic of everything is good in moderation.
Yeah, absolutely. I
So
feel like,
just take a break.
yeah, because like when you think about it again, like people are like, oh my God, you have playing video games as a job. You're so lucky, blah, blah, blah. And I just want to say, like, absolutely not. Because the thing about me is that, yes, it's absolutely fun playing video games, but sometimes you don't exactly get to review the games you want. There are some games where you don't really like and you have to review it anyway. And you have to be fair about it. So it becomes work. Like sometimes there was one time I had to review Yoru when he came out in Valorant, and I spent 3 days grinding for him, just nonstop, morning and night, playing a ton of Valorant to unlock him, and another 2 days learning him. And I was like thinking, like, oh my God, I love Valorant, but I'm sick of playing Valorant. I don't ever want to play Valorant for a while. And I think it took me like a month or two before I can finally go back because I was so burnt out from those 5 days of playing Valorant. It happens.
Yeah, doing anything non-stop will burn you out fast.
Yeah, absolutely. And like what Einstein says, doing something over and over without a different outcome is insanity. It's like those people who play ranked and they play it over and over again. Like, when you're playing ranked and you play like 5 games and you lost every single one of them, you're getting frustrated, you're getting angry, you keep losing and losing and losing. I just want to say stop. At that point, you got to stop. You cannot keep going because you're already on a downward trend. take a break, take a breather, play another game, get off the computer, anything. Because once your mentality is not good when you're doing something, is when like I don't think
Yeah.
like you should continue that for a while. The same goes for work. Sometimes you just need a break. Just be like, sorry, boss, I can't do this right now. Can I have like a half an hour breather? It's healthy.
So just let your mind rest.
Yeah, I feel like people think that playing games is like letting your mind rest. Absolutely not. Playing games engages your mind. So that's why I say like depending on the game you play, it can either make you or break you. Like for Genshin, right? Like when I play, I because I'm always on trying to relax because I'm always tired, I'm always busy. I don't go around making spreadsheets of like what to build or what to farm. I just walk around the map picking up mint. I don't feel like I have like 500, 600 mint just like picking up randomly as I walk. Because the thing is like sometimes you don't want to do something that engages your mind. You just want to do mindless things, and that's absolutely okay.
Yeah. It might not be really related to the game itself either, but like to your mindset towards it. Because what you said, some people literally go and making massive spreadsheets and waiting for the time to go and farm things, but you can just roam around and chop those
Yeah,
trees.
because I feel like a lot of my life revolves around spreadsheets, thinking like I'm reviewing games, I'm reviewing damage sometimes when I review certain games. I feel like I go pretty technical when I'm reviewing things. Sometimes you just want to stop thinking. And the thing about me is that I used to play RuneScape for 8 years of my life, and I think about the amount of spreadsheets and how to min max farming and all that. And I feel like if I have to go through that again, I will die. I can't go through that again. Oh my god. It's actually stressful. Like you're already stressed from your daily life. Why stress yourself out more in video games? Which is why like I always have this argument against people who get mad at me for not wanting to play hardcore mode and stuff. So some games I just don't want to play normal. I just want to play easy mode. Not because I'm not good at video games. It's because I'm just literally so mentally tired. Just let me enjoy the game.
Yeah, relating to the easy mode, there was a question before
Mm-hmm.
from Phil de Blanc. He
Mm-hmm.
asked, what do you think of playing games on easy difficulty? I play
Oh,
games to distress, so I always play on easy. So
I
you kind of covered the question.
I kind of did. But to go a little bit into that, I feel like there's a lot of gatekeeping when it comes to playing easy mode on a video game, especially for game journalists. For me, when I'm doing my game reviews, I absolutely avoid going easy mode. I'm kind of like a little bit different than other game journalists. I understand the reason why they want to go easy mode though, because they want to go through the game as fast as they can to get the review out. So, but the thing about me is that when I review something, I want the most authentic experience. So I would normally play normal, just to get like a rough idea of what most people who play it will be going through. But when I'm in my own time, I absolutely want to play easy. There's two reasons why though. Number one, when I'm playing horror games, I'm a wuss. I'm an absolute wuss. I'm already freaking out about everything, and then I have to worry about the thing not dying. Ma'am, I don't think my brain can be dealing with that. One brain cell and anxiety do not agree with this. So yeah, absolutely will not touch that. For games that are like story based, like say like games like God of War and all that, sometimes I don't feel like fighting the game. I just want to enjoy the story. I just want to de-stress. Kind of like a playable movie, kind of like that.
Yeah.
So I would definitely play easy mode depending on my mood. But when it's a game that I really, really like say JRPGs are my jam. I love JRPGs. Like think about like Persona 5, Final Fantasy and all that. Absolutely I'll play normal or even hard because those are like my favorite kind of things to do.
Okay, that's nice. So up to you, like, depending on your mode, depending on
Yeah,
your mood, depending on
yeah,
what you feel like, just go
yeah.
with it.
It's actually really funny because when I was younger, I was the type of gamer who would go like, I think it was critical mode on Kingdom Hearts and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, the high as gets.
Yeah, that was me when I was 14, but now I'm almost 30. I do not have the amount of time, energy, or dedication to go through that. I already dedicated all that energy for work. I'm like, oh, I gotta do that for video games too. Ugh, nah.
So just enjoy yourself.
Yeah, that's just the thing that makes you happy. Like, people who play Cuphead, they want to ask for easy mode. while I do understand the sentiment, but that is not exactly the way the devs want it to be played. So at the same time, while I do kind of like hate people for, getting mad at people for playing easy mode, I also do not like it when you kind of force devs to give you an easy mode. Just enjoy the game as
Yeah.
is. Sometimes some games are just not for you.
Yeah, I never got into Cuphead. It's
I played
my
one boss.
coordination is shit. I can't do that.
I played one boss and I was like, yeah, nope. I just gave up. Same goes for Returnal. I reviewed it on the PlayStation 5. It was just way too hard. I had to review it, and it was like the most hellish 1 week of review I've ever had to do in my life. I got to the second map. I was 5 days of just returning back to the second map over and over and over again. And I just said, you know what? I can't do it, but I have an idea what to say about the game without being harsh about it.
So I kind of got the idea of it.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the next question. From Anita Ahmad. How do you balance your studies and gaming at the same time?
Oh, okay. So for studies, oh my God, I had horrible ethics when it comes to studying in university. I mean, like I was thankful during university. The only game I could do was RuneScape because I lived in a dorm, so I couldn't bring my PlayStation and all that, and I had a really crappy laptop. So RuneScape. One thing that's great about RuneScape is like there's a lot of AFK stuff. So I would just like maybe just leave my character there doing something while I studied. But it's I think like it comes down to prioritization. This comes to something what my brother was doing, because recently my brother. So you know how universities give like 5 to 10 weeks to do your assignments and stuff.
Yeah.
People will always do like their assignments like a week before or maybe the night before. One thing I noticed, my brother, like he would always do it ASAP, and I would ask him like, why are you doing this? Like, don't you have time? And he goes, I do, but the thing is, do I want to play video games and worrying about my assignment, or do I want to finish my assignment and don't have to worry about my assignment after that? And I was like, but not, and just enjoy my video games without worrying about assignments. And I was like, damn, my brother damn smart. So it comes down to prioritization. This is where I would definitely encourage you to make lists of prioritization, like something for you to, like every day. This is something like from me as well, because I do have a little bit of ADHD, which developed from the amount of years I've played video games. I feel like a lot of us have it in terms of concentration issues. So so what I would do is I would make a list of things to do today, and then I would reward myself with like an hour or two of video games. It's like if I want to play a video game today, I have to achieve at least this. And then when I reach it, I'm like, yes, it's Genshin time. Hop on Genshin, play as much as I want. And then after that, when the timer is up, I have to go back to working again. That's one way. Or if you want the really awesome, no bothering you way, finish everything in one go as fast as you can, as best as you can, and try to maximize your gaming time. So that's like the best way I can kind of like say it. But the thing is, like when it comes to studying, I feel like just dedicating an hour or two per day just to kind of like recap what you went through to class really, really helps, because like then during exam time you don't have to stress out way too much. This is something that I learned back then as well in university. My God, my university days were a lot of like stickers and highlighters and pens. I love those. I love those so much. It's like I have to study this much before I'm able to play that game. So that is definitely like the advice I would give.
So keep yourself organized.
Keep yourself organized is one, but more of like reward yourself. Don't feel like I have to finish this whole book before I games. No, that's torture. Do like small amounts. Be like, okay, it's 2 hours of studying for 40 minutes of Genshin, kind of like that. Like that's actually like the best way. So the more you let yourself be rewarded, the more motivated you are to actually start a new game. I like to do this with anime as well. As anime is like 20 minutes long, so anime has a lot of like cliffhangers, right?
Yeah.
So to motivate myself to get to the next episode, I will be like, okay, I have to finish this part so that I can watch next episode, like that.
That's nice. So yeah, I always try to do that, but I just end up procrastinating, and yeah, everything just gets pushed forward.
Oh yeah, so procrastination is something
The
that
games are
I
there. I'm there, deciding somewhere
oh, mine
else.
is worse because I don't even play video games. I just stare at my screen until I feel confident enough to start. But now it's like I tell myself the faster you get it over with, the faster you can do things you love. So it's a great way to kind of push yourself to do things that you love.
That's amazing if it works for you.
You should. It's all about discipline. And I feel like I know discipline is something that's very hard. Like I am struggling with it because I'm trying to wake up earlier. Um, I'm trying to wake up earlier just so that I can, spend some time to exercise, to spend time with my boyfriend. But honestly, I've been waking up at 10, 11, and honestly, I'm like mad at myself. Every time I do it, I'm mad at myself. But like things like when you wake up early, you always feel really good about yourself because you feel like you accomplish more and time seems to move slower because you have more time to accomplish things. And yeah, I know like working into the night, I feel like it's not exactly ideal for you mentally because sometimes you just need to give your brain like that little cutoff time. One great way to kind of like separate work, study, and play, especially when you're stuck indoors a lot, is to kind of like well, I would call this a time barrier. Like for me personally, from 10 till 5 is work hours. Don't touch that for anything else. That's literally work. And then after that, you don't bring your work over those hours unless you really, really need to. I know I still bring it over that as well. But if I could give that advice, I would give that advice to everyone. Like honor your own time boundaries.
That's a great advice. So keep work to work, your life to your life. Don't mix
Yeah,
them.
because right now I feel like the when you during this pandemic, right? Because when back then when you go to office, it's like that 5 p.m. cutoff time is very obvious because you leave the office and you come home, and this area here is where you have fun, have play video games, just relax. But now when this area itself is a work area, that can be rough. So the only thing you can do is disengage via putting a timer on yourself because if not, you'll go crazy. But I know that some employers are the worst. They are the type of people who would be like, "Oh, you're at home all the time. I'm gonna just throw you more work." But
Yeah.
honestly, like you should actually really talk to employers about like that work-life balance. It's something that's very important, I feel.
That's very accurate thing now. Since all of us working from home.
Yeah.
A lot of people actually agreed with you about uh, rewarding yourself. A lot of
Mm.
people can relate to your anime thing that you said as a
Yeah.
cliffhanger,
It's like
and
a
you have
great
to
way.
discipline yourself. There's one really interesting question from Vasis Vaskita.
Mm-hmm.
How long you should play the game to produce review script? Because you
To
mentioned you have a
I
lot of,
see.
yeah, that's your job,
Uh,
right? So
yeah, it is. So for me personally, if it's for a first impressions, I would give it 4 to 5 hours. But if it's like a full review, I would finish it till the end. I will try my best to finish it as much as I can. If I can't, I will actually explicitly say in the beginning, like I only spent this amount of time of games, and this is what I thought about it. I try my best to finish it because the thing is, I remembered back then I was reviewing The Last of Us Part Two, and I remember that it was taking me a lot longer than I should to finish the game because I was playing it on a little bit normal difficulty. I'm not the best when it comes to sneaking. I like how my community for Twitch say this. There may be the word Tash in stealth, but there is definitely no stealth in Tash. So I was like ramboing everyone because I suck at it. I suck at stealthing. I'm not patient enough. So my boss said it's okay, you don't have to finish it. But I told my boss like I really need to. I really absolutely need to finish this game. And I was right because there was some really big moments at the end of the game that was definitely worth talking about in the review. So for me personally, in order to give a very fair review, I would absolutely try my best to finish a game. But for games like Returnal, where I can't finish the game. I feel like the thing about a lot of reviewers nowadays that they feel very prideful to critique a game. Like they're so proud to be a game critique. But for me, I feel like giving me experience, giving me the honor of experiencing the game. I would love to put my experience first before the critique. That's just what I do. I give or take the amount of time I would give for it is like almost always 1 week because I feel like that's the best amount of time. But for like smaller indie games, like say games like Coffee Talk, it only took me around like I think a day to finish because the game was generally quite short. So yeah, it depends on the game. So most AAA, I would try to give it at least 3 to 4 days.
So you try to get as close to the end as
Ending as
possible.
possible, yeah. Because to me, as I said before, like I feel like nowadays a lot of people are just too harsh with video games, too harsh with reviews. And because I like to think about it like this, video games are an art form, and it's very subjective. There are some games where people did not enjoy, I actually enjoy. So as I said, a review should not, I try my best to not read other people's reviews before I write my own review, because if not, then my opinion will definitely be biased, because I want to give them the most, how do I say this, honest experience that I can give about a game. I remember back then I was always so hell bent on nitpicking every single small thing in a game. I feel like nowadays that has changed. Only I'm a little bit more harsh with AAA games, only because they have a lot of resources and manpower and all that kind of stuff. But when it comes to smaller indie games, I feel like you gotta be a lot more mindful and careful, because one thing is that you don't want to break these indie game developers' passion and drive, because like I feel like nowadays the most interesting and most innovative games come from indie devs. Like look at Hades and Before Your
Yeah.
Eyes. Definitely game mechanics that you don't really see on AAA games.
Yeah, that's very awesome of you, to be honest, that you think about game developers,
Yeah,
how the companies work, what resources they have, because a lot of people kind of brush it off. They don't
yeah,
consider people behind the games who are creating them. They're just trying to be as harsh as possible, what you mentioned, just trying to be as
yeah.
critical as possible.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same goes for like a movie critiques as well. Because when you come to like those big blockbuster Hollywood productions, it's absolutely okay to be a little bit more harsh, because they are people with a lot of experience. They've done so many movies. They have a lot of budget to deal with. But those smaller indie movies, these are people that they don't really. I feel like indie movies are like something that you don't really see nowadays. Like a lot of Hollywood blockbusters are very, like they follow trends. Same goes for video games. A lot of things just follow the current trend of what people love, that kind of thing. But when you go to the more down the indie route, you see a lot more variety and diversity, and which is what I would really like to encourage more nowadays.
Yeah, because what you mentioned, the big studios all go for very typical things.
Yeah, yeah. So like I
Also,
remember Cyberpunk came out, and a lot of other studios start to follow that trend as well. I don't hate Cyberpunk trend, obviously, but I wish that there was more different things coming out at the same time. Like remembered when Outlast in terms of horror game came out, and everyone
yeah.
wanted to do their own Outlast. When PT came out, everyone wanted to do their own PT. So honestly, trends come and go, but there are some trends that I do miss. So I wish that things weren't trends, but it's more of like you are doing things that you enjoy kind of thing. I wish there was more diversity.
Also, in your answer just now, you mentioned that there are some games that was heavily critiqued, but you enjoyed it. One
Mm.
game, for example, maybe more than one.
The Last of Us Part 2. Oh my god. I got so much hate from it for saying that I enjoyed the game.
Oh
I
wow.
mean, I think the game is awesome. It's a very beautiful game, very well written. Very depressing. Honestly, the game is very depressing. I'm not a big fan of how the ending turned out, but I cannot deny that the game was actually one of the best games I've ever played. I know that a lot of people were unhappy with the whole storyline, especially with the whole Ellie and Joel thing. Like, I gotta admit, I didn't like that either, but it is a very good game.
Okay, awesome. I did not get my hands on Last of Us 2, so I have no idea
What?
what you're talking about. I only played the first part, but
Okay, I'm so glad I didn't spoil it for you. Please play
yeah,
it.
you didn't say nothing yet.
But you're gonna be so depressed throughout the whole game. Oh my
I
god.
mean, the first one also was really depressing, so it's kind of
The
expected so
first,
much from them.
the second one is worse. Just please play it. If you can stream it on the Lugiami page, absolutely, I will come watch. I just want to see your reaction.
You can just see me sitting there crying.
Oh, I cried a lot.
Uh, any more questions we have? Also a question also from Anita Ahmad.
Uh-huh.
Did COVID and quarantine change anything in your career? How did it impacted your career?
Okay, so I came back to gaming right before COVID. So in terms of affecting my career, or I think like I'd say it was a lot different then and now. Like back then I had a lot of offline events I was hosting, like big tournaments. I remember one of my favorite tournaments I hosted was League of Legends Championship Malaysia, LCM 2018.
Oh wow.
2017. Yeah, I can't remember, but oh my god, I loved it. I miss the rush of the big crowd. I just miss hosting in general. So when COVID happened, events became smaller at first, which I was okay with, but then it went straight to online. So I think the one that happened online recently, I shoutcasted. That was actually my first time shoutcasting, by the way. It was the PUBG Challenger Rumble, which was like only a few weeks ago. So I actually casted right here with this setup. So I'm actually thankful because I do have the setup. Even though it was like a more of a stream, almost a hobby, but this setup actually gave me an advantage when it comes to my job because I'm still able to host or cast because I do have all the stuff. But I'm very sad because like in terms of like events and stuff, a lot of them either got canceled, or are postponed to a later date. So I feel like
Yeah.
in terms of opportunity, it's still there for me, but it's not as stable. But weirdly, while people, I feel bad seeing this. Like a lot of people lost a lot of opportunity while COVID happened. But I'm so thankful that I was given a lot of opportunity. I mean, Lugiami happened, and then I actually got picked as ambassadors for two products, which was also very cool. I hosted a lot of events. I was brought in for a lot of offline, sorry, online events. I started working with NGOs. One of them is called Women Girls. I taught them how to. I thought that I made a little like a curriculum for girls on how to about esports, which was also kind of cool. I kind of jump in once in a while every few weekends just to kind of see how the girls are doing. So yeah, it's a sorry, I just went like away from like the question. But yeah, in terms of like it's changed or not, I'm not too sure because I came back right when COVID happened.
So is it safe to say that the industry changed? The industry had to change, and you changed together with it.
Yeah, they kind of have to. A lot of stuff changed as well. Like I feel like for Valorant in the US, like people were still flying out for LAN tournaments, but like for Southeast Asia, I'm seeing a lot of events just happen online. Like a lot of events were just like, a lot of pro players were playing online. A lot of
Yeah.
casters are casting from home, hosting as well. Honestly, in terms of hosting, it's very unfortunate because I noticed a lot of events, they kind of like just cut down on hosts and just use the casters altogether, which is why I'm very sad because sometimes I do want to host something, but they're like, oh no, we don't need hosts. We just need a caster. And I was like, crap, probably maybe I should get into casting one day or something.
Okay, next question. Uh, what do you feel if you're playing games?
What do I feel when I'm playing video games? It
Yeah.
depends on the game. Like if the game is happy, I'm happy. If the game is sad, I'm sad. If I'm playing games like Valorant, I get pissed. Uh,
I feel all multiplayer games meant to make you pissed.
but when I play with my friends, I rarely ever get pissed. I'm just like, constantly saying sorry or I'm laughing or just troll around, depending on the game. So I'm a Sage main. I think I'm a straight Sage one trick because this is a big problem for me. When I pick up one hero, agent, champion, whatever for a game, I stick to it because I'm too tired to be learning another character. And my friends like, Tash, why don't you play something else? You want to play them? I'm like, no, I'm too lazy. I have no time. That's a big problem. So yeah. So when I play Sage, it's like sometimes I get bored of playing Sage. So I start doing weird stuff. I don't know if you saw on my Instagram, I did a weird wall and I was so
Yeah.
excited about it. So when
And
I'm
it
doing
worked.
that, I get so excited. Depends on what I'm doing in the game.
But you had fun and it worked. So
Yeah,
win-win.
I think like that's the thing about me is like I try my best to not turn a game into something stressful. Like my boyfriend, he is I wouldn't call him a pro player, but his mentality is definitely like a pro player.
Mhm.
Wants to learn specific lineups, wants to, like when he watches me play, he'll kind of like tell me like, okay, your crosshair needs to be higher, you need to be able to do this, do that. I think as a person who never really played shooters when I was younger, like I think my learning curve is very, very slow, very slowly going up. I mean, it's getting better, but it's not exactly the best. So he gets I can tell he gets frustrated with me. So I guess I only get frustrated myself. But I try my best not to beat myself up about it, or like I have friends who would like go into like custom games and just like kind of like force themselves to learn or memorize lineups, because that turns a game into a process for me. And I don't like it when things turn to a process. Like work is already a process. I don't need for that to happen to games. I mean, if you enjoy that, absolutely, go crazy. But that's not for me, I think.
So just want to chill as much as possible.
Yeah, I
Enjoy
just want to.
yourself.
Yeah, I just want to do stupid stuff.
So
Just
when
let
did you
my.
start playing
Sorry?
games altogether? When did you start playing games?
I started playing games when I was oh my god, okay. I think we talked about this the other day. I
Yeah.
started I started playing games when I was, oh my god, I was in Australia at the time. I was like 3, I think.
Oh
That was like
wow.
a really old Windows computer. I think Windows 95. So I was like 4. And
What
then
was you playing?
I was playing this educational game. I don't remember what it was. It looks like art. So you get like draw and click for paintings and stuff, which is super
Okay,
fun. I
those were
love
terrible.
I mean, those are really fun. I love those. And then after that, as I grew up, there was more of the game. My mom would actually just encourage those. I love that Jumpstart Frog third grade one. That was my favorite. And that robot one with the math, that was also fun. Learning about American history. Awesome. Love it. I mean, it didn't really help in school, but the math stuff helped, I guess. And then it went to I think my first like proper MMO was Ragnarok Online. I kept dying to the dumb wolves, so I gave up on that. And then there was those Disney games like Tarzan and Brother Bear and all that. That was kind of fun. And my first proper game was when I was 13, and I was playing Kingdom Hearts 1. And that's how I became a gamer.
So you threw your childhood in there.
Yeah.
And when did you decided that this is career for you? You want to do this as your job?
Oh, this is actually really funny. I never planned on it. It just happened. So it's a very interesting thing because I was actually in law school for about 2 years. And then I stopped because just wasn't for me. Like everyone told me like, Tasha, you're so good at talking. You should definitely be a lawyer, you know? I don't know why. Like back then everyone would associate talking with being a lawyer. And it's actually really funny. It turns out like I'm good at talking to become a host. Like a different thing altogether. But honestly, when I finished school, I majored in sociology under human sciences with an English minor. And I thought I was going to be working in HR or marketing or something. But then one day before I graduated, I remembered that there was an audition at a Malaysian TV channel, Astro. And my friend actually tagged me in it, and I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna get it. I used to have that horrible mindset where I just refused to try because I thought I wasn't gonna get it. So because the thing is, like, I feel like I don't know if a lot of people can relate with me, but like you already feel like you've lost before you even started, and to avoid feeling disappointment, you just don't do it.
Yeah.
So the thing is, like last minute, I actually did sign up and went, and I was like, and I went, and I was thinking like, what the hell am I doing here? And I saw all these like famous radio DJs and hosts, auditioning for it, and then there's me. Everyone was like on this fancy clothes. I didn't know how to audition for TV. I had no clue how to. I wore like work pants and like a work shirt. I looked like I was going for a work audition. It's awful. And then I don't know. I finished it and I was really sad because I thought I didn't get it. Then one day I got a text and it said, "Oh, we're interested in having." I'm like, what? Oh, so yeah, here I am.
So technically just an accident.
Yeah, I always just get so confused. Honestly, I don't think it was just an accident because right before I graduated as well, I was also the vice president for the esports club in my university, which I also didn't want to join, but ended up joining. I was like, "Oh, man, I'm going. I don't even like leaving my room, but I'm like, oh, you gotta do something, man. Esports, man, sounds so cool. I'm like, oh, okay, fine. Ended up becoming a vice president, which was very funny. Um, and I actually was the MC for our first LAN Dota 2 tournament in the university. It wasn't like the best one, but I hosted for it. And one of the people who came to the event was ESM's senior, Esports Malaysia senior. And he was like, "Oh, I love the way you speak. So would you like to host for Ages 2016?" And I ended up doing that, and that's how I kind of also got into the the scene, which is very interesting. I think about it like, whoa, there was two ways I was in. Whoa.
So subconsciously you was working towards it.
I wouldn't say that. It just happened. I mean, to be fair, when I was younger, I bought a camera, but to become a beauty blogger.
Whoa, that's so far.
But I never ended up posting those videos. I was too shy.
But at least you recorded. If there was something to post, you tried.
I didn't post it. I didn't post it. But you know, when I think about it right now, I'm actually starting to do beauty videos, and I'm thinking, wow, I have come full circle. What the heck?
Back at square one.
Yeah, back at square one, but in a good way. In a good way.
But whatever happened, you end up doing what you love. That's amazing.
Thank you. So that was that.
Regarding that, there's a question. What is your upcoming goals as you currently work in the Lugiami? What attracts you to the organization?
So while I'm working Lugiami, honestly, I really want to advocate for women empowerment, which is why I was really excited when Lugiami brought me in, because it was the same time that I started, helping out women, girls. It's a very interesting thing, like women empowerment. Like I thought it was more about like benefiting myself. But once I started seeing the girls, talking to them, kind of like giving them classes and seeing how they're so passionate about the games they play, it was like, they're very, very young girls, like 13, 14, 15, 16 years old. And, some of them have seen the more toxic side of video games and some of them haven't. And, I really want, like, I just tell myself, like, I don't want these girls to go through like whatever we all that have gone through did, when guys would go like, oh, you're only up here because you're lucky, or you're only up here because you're a girl, that kind of stuff. Like I want to be able to educate and teach people, these girls, like, no, you're not up here because you're lucky or because you're girls, because you worked hard for it, because you caught someone's eye, your personality caught someone's eye, and that is why you're here. I want them to be proud of themselves, and I want them to be able to, have their head up high and say, hey, I did this by myself. Because like if guys can say that, like why do girls have to constantly shrink themselves? And that's what I'm hoping me being Lugami can actually, kind of like bring on in the future. Because like, I want girls to think like it's okay to be who they are, regardless if they want to make an OnlyFans or if they want to go a more conservative route. I just want them to be themselves and own it. And that's why I'm here.
That's an amazing goal.
Yeah, I mean, I would think that. I hope it is. I don't know. I just feel like I hate that, girls are always belittled. I hate it so much. And if I can do something about it, I would.
So better future for next generations.
Yes, because like even though I can't have a good generation for myself, at least the newer generation is able to just enjoy things they enjoy without harassment and all that kind of stuff. We're a long way away from that, but hopefully one day it can be a thing.
As far as we're doing something about it, it will.
Yeah, hope so.
If we just sit there and watch it, that won't work.
Yeah, because I feel like that's the thing, like when more voices talk about it, when more voices are able to be more firm about it and take charge about it, that's when change happens. Because when it's just one singular voice, it just does seem weak. But when there's so many voices doing something about it, then something might happen. And I'm hoping that me speaking out about it will make people more brave to talk about it. And with more brave voices comes that unity, and with unity comes change. Because like I think it's like I remember the Me Too movement last year happened, and it was in the gaming industry where a lot of game devs as well as streamers came out with their own experiences in esports. And I kind of and I got super, excited, not excited, that's not the right word, brave. I was brave enough to talk about my own experience because I had my own sexual harassment experience in esports, and I felt like. And when I spoke out, I realized, oh shoot, I'm the only one in Malaysia that actually spoke out about my experience, And I remembered like it was pretty hell because I had to go through a lot of like legal stuff, like engaging lawyers and meeting the company, going back and forth, back and forth. We went through many months. I remember the 1 week after I made a thread about it on Twitter, I was crying for a whole week because there was a lot of regret. Like I should have done that, or I should have said it. Oh man, I'm just now I ruined my own credibility. I'm scaring myself. But it didn't really work out. I mean, it worked out a little bit, but not too much. It's whatever. I kind of let it go. But at the same time, the people who helped me, like they told me, you know what, Tash, you should, now that you know that these things behind you, you should pay it forward. You should make a better world for other girls. And I intend to do that because a lot of people helped me through it and they were kind enough, and I would really, really, really want to pay it forward.
That's really awesome what you did. Not awesome what happened to you, but the whole concept that you now trying to encourage others and help them, that's amazing. So from your own experience, you bring something nice,
Yeah. So like
something bright, something better.
I really hope that like with me saying that, like a lot of girls, if you've gone through it, if you do have something, you can talk to me about it. I can advise you the best I can. If you're in Malaysia, I can absolutely help you if you need it. I can point you in the right direction. So yeah, I'm just hoping that I can be a safe space for girls out there as well.
A lot of people need it.
Yeah.
With Me Too movement, we saw how many people came forward, and that was mildly scary.
It is because like people don't talk about it because there's a lot of power in play, a lot of like being scared of losing your job. And I remembered I didn't talk about my experience until 3 years later because I was so scared of losing my job back then. So yeah, and I want people to know, like nowadays it's a different time. I mean, yes, it's not exactly like fully changed, but I have your back and I can absolutely point you in the right direction. So you don't have to feel like I don't know what to do. I'm here for you.
So they're not alone.
Yeah, they're
There's
absolutely,
somebody to support them.
yes.
Because I feel in a lot of cases you need that.
Yeah, I remember
Just
like I felt so alone and so scared because I didn't know who to talk to. I didn't know what was the right move and stuff. So yeah, thanks to help from, and there's this one lawyer here in Malaysia. His name is Rick Wee, and he's amazing. He pointed me in the right direction where to go and everything, as well as D-Way as well. I had two lawyers, three, including Shina's, helped me out throughout all that. And I just wanted to tell people, like, without their help, like I would be lost. So I was lucky enough that someone pointed me in the right direction. So I want to be that person to help people point them in the right direction as well.
that's a great concept. Keep them accountable, help each
Yes.
other. Because what you said also, it took you 3 years to come forward, right?
Yeah, 3
A
years.
lot of stories you saw, also very, very old stories. So, how many of them are never going to be told? How many of
Exactly.
them are just brushed over?
Exactly. It's actually so sad because like some girls, I actually know this girl as well. She confessed to me that she went through a pretty traumatic experience and she can't do anything about it because she was terrified that she would lose her job. And when you're working in esports and all that, where especially when there's not a lot of space or jobs, and you're working like the things that you love, losing your job can be very, very scary, especially right now in the pandemic. So which is why like I want to make sure that people don't have to feel that way. Don't have to feel like, oh, if I get justice, I lose my job. No.
Because they've been threatened with that. They've been
Yes.
threatened that they are replaceable. There's going to be
Yeah.
somebody else.
Yeah.
But that's not true.
It's not. It's honestly not. So yeah, I want to create a culture that keeps people accountable, regardless, guys or girls. If you do something wrong, then you are going to be definitely be held accountable.
That's a great that's a great path to go. I think you can see in our YouTube and Twitch, there's a lot of people supporting you and they're proud of you that you speak out and they're
Oh,
happy that you coming forward and supporting other women.
oh, thank you. I'm just trying to pay it forward. I don't want people to feel like how I felt. It's not a great feeling. So whatever I went through that's not good is what I want to prevent and not let other people go through.
Yeah, if you can do anything to prevent it, to support somebody who went through, definitely you have to.
Yeah.
That's what we are trying to do now.
Yeah. And I feel like in a you know, with the help of Lugiami that should be happening because I don't think I've seen any other esports organization that really presses on this issue.
I feel like it's a very hard issue to talk about, and a lot of organizations and people they just trying to look over it. They don't
Yeah,
want to be dealing with that. They don't want to talk
exactly.
about it.
Yeah, and I feel like we should. There's nothing wrong with talking about it. And like when you keep people accountable, it creates a safer place. And when you create a safer place, there's just a lot more talent. I feel like there's a lot of talent that's being overlooked because of this. You know what I'm trying to say? And a lot of talent, a lot of girls who don't want to do these things. Like I remember, I interviewed this one girl. I wrote this article about sexual harassment in esports, right? And there was this one girl. She was really excited to stream. She loved streaming. She loved making content. But people came into a stream and harassed her, and she was so scared to stream anymore. She never did it again. And how many more passionate people's passion, like their passion just killed because of these kind of people? It's disgusting.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of companies are encouraging it by not doing anything about it.
I think it's not about encouraging it, it's because they're too scared of losing their base. Because the problem right now is the more vocal and loud people are I hate saying this, but the louder audience in gamers are always they're not
Yeah,
exactly, yeah,
I get
like,
what you mean.
yeah. So it's like, why? Like, why would you say those things? Why would you do those things? Why would you think doing that is okay? Why do you think the first thing for you to do is to say someone's a liar? I mean, hello, innocent until proven guilty, fine. If a girl comes forward or a guy comes forward and they say something happened to them, I'm not telling you to believe outright. I'm telling you to listen. Listen and point them in the right direction. And then after that, we let the process of law take over. And the thing is, when you are already crucifying someone by calling them a liar, by not letting them say their part of the story, that's the problem. You don't say that. You give words of encouragement to the victim, absolutely. Regardless of if they're innocent or not, coming out after that comes down to the consequences, because everything you do has consequences. Because I know that a lot of people are worried that girls are lying, but out of how many cases of liars, out of how many cases that are brought forward are lies and how many of them are true? Statistically, there are more truth than liars. So why are you so worried about the liars?
I feel like it's
Seriously.
more safe to point out to the liars, so they don't have to do anything about those who tell the truth. They can
That's the
just
problem.
ignore
The
it.
thing, the thing is, if they are already lying, there should already be consequence, which is why I say let the rule of law do what they're supposed to do. If say, oh, this guy sexually harassed a girl, and then the girl comes out about it, and the first thing you do is call the girl a clout seeker, bro, listen to her, point her in the right direction, let the law do what they have to do. And then if the law says, okay, he's guilty, then he's a bad person. But if say the law finds out that she's a liar, then she's a bad person. I think it's very simple, as black and white. I don't know why people are complicating it. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, that
When you
would
keep
be.
people accountable, there won't be bad people doing bad things to people. We're trying to create a safer place for everyone. You know what I'm trying to say? Guys or girls. So I don't know why people, before there's even a verdict, why are they already calling someone a liar or fake?
Yeah, for some reason, people looking forward to protecting the people who don't need to be protected.
I think that's the
It's
problem
very
with a lot
common.
of fans, especially because one thing about fans, especially that I notice, is that they're just so hell bent in protecting their favorite people. You know, for me, it's like, yes, I absolutely have favorite streamers, favorite pro players, but when I hear these things, I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna take a step back and I'm gonna have to be neutral about it. You know what I'm trying to say? I can't just say like, no, he would never do something like that. You know, like you don't know them.
Yeah.
They're just someone behind a camera or behind you. Like okay, so this is something crazy statistically. Did you know that a lot of rape cases happen by people that you know, fathers, uncles, boyfriends, and it's more likely to happen by those people than from strangers?
I've heard about it before, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's the
That's even
truth.
scarier.
It is scary. And that's why when, when we say like these things happen among friends, then, like people would take advantage of other people, especially when they're closer, because it's easier. So these things do happen, and these are all statistics that are already done by research. So the thing is, that's why I say like when these things happen, us as the public, we're not supposed to be rallying about who we believe and who we don't believe. No, our first step is to make sure the victim is safe. That's number one. And number two, we should advise the victim what to do next. Like this thing happened. So what are you going to do about it? Do you want to press charges? Do you not want to press charges? Um, who should she or he talk to, And I feel like in this kind of part, like, yes, there are absolutely laws already uh, when it comes to this. But in the gaming scene, I feel like this is something that's not really brought up or talked about a lot. And we should start thinking about like, oh, we need policies in video games. No, we need these policies to be enforced in video games.
Yeah. Because there are policies, but from what we see, they're not very functional.
Yeah, because I feel like because games are such a male-dominated industry, and like you heard like a lot of stuff talking about, especially in the game dev, you've heard game companies like Riot Games, like you've heard like what's going on there as well. So when there's no accountability, that's what happens.
Yeah. I've researched a lot about it, especially in the game developers, and it's terrifying, and even more terrifyingly that nobody held accountable. There is no punishment for that.
Yeah, I think because game industries, I would say it's a large industry, but there's not enough space in the industry, and everyone is
Yes.
dying to get in the industry. So people are too scared of losing their spot in the industry, and that kind of like leverage is the reason why a lot of stuff is not happening. And we need to stop that from happening. We need to stop this power play from stopping people from coming up and talking about it, or even getting in trouble for it.
Yeah. So we need to work towards creating a safer space,
Yeah, I
place
think.
for people to come to talk
Yeah,
about it.
yeah, I feel like there needs to be a system where both parties are listened to, and the enforcement of the rules are done. Sometimes they do sometimes people do get, like, I remember there was a colleague of mine, like they found out like this person was harassing someone, and instead of telling the person to resign or firing them, they told the girl to just kind of like brush it off or ignore him. Like, what? Hello? You know
Yeah.
how uncomfortable it is working with someone who has violated you, Like I always get so baffled. Why is it so hard for the person who does something wrong to be punished?
Yeah.
Especially when there's proof.
Yeah, because a lot of companies also portray it as a troublemakers, as
Yeah.
you making an issue.
Yeah.
Like
Which
that's
means
so
like a
not
lot
what's
of,
happening.
yeah, that's why. That's the problem. And that culture needs to go. I hate that culture.
Yeah. So we're here to change it actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to work towards that. That's a very serious and very deep and important topic to close our interview with. I did not expect it to go there, but I'm glad it did.
Yeah, I feel like it should be spoken up about. We should really. I feel like a lot of conversation is done, is talked about it, but I feel like in terms of action, it's not a lot. And I hope that while I'm still in the industry, I can actually do something to change that.
Yeah. We actually have a person in our chat who says that the companies ignore that kind of report, just like what happened to her. So I just resigned because it's already unhealthy.
It's actually
Because it just
better.
ignored her statement.
Yeah, because the thing is, like, when your company ignores that statement, it kind of like shows the stance or where the company stands and what the company believes in. So if a company like that, takes their side, honestly, I would do the same, because it just shows that they're not interested in taking care of the women in the company, not interested in making sure that there is a safe and comfortable place for everyone.
Yeah.
Well, it does suck that you did lose your job, but I do hope that you found a better and safer place for now. And I'm so
Where,
sorry that you had to go through that.
yeah, safer space where you would be actually respected and heard. Yeah, I think we're gonna end our interview on this topic. Thank you so much for coming today.
No.
And
Yeah, if you guys have any other questions or you guys want to talk, like, feel free. My DMs are open. My email is also open as well. If you're in Malaysia, I can try my best to help you if you guys need help.
yeah, all her contacts can be found on all over our platforms actually. Okay, anyways, thank you for today. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye,
Thank you so
everyone.